Welcome to Beyond Rockets. Hope you're having a great day. My name is Clark Dunn and I'm your host. Get ready to enjoy some awesome conversations from Huntsville locals about cool work they are doing right here in the Rocket City. You can connect with us on social media at Beyond Rockets, and if you're interested in doing a podcast yourself, I'd love to hear from you. You can visit my website, beyondrockets.com today, or connect with me on LinkedIn at Clark Dunn. Sit back and enjoy this episode of Beyond Rockets. Well, welcome to the podcast.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
Yeah, excited to have you all here today. Would you like to introduce yourself and kind of tell us a little bit about the restaurant that you're with?
Sure. Brown, you want to go first?
Yeah, I'm Chef James Brown. I work at the Standard. It's been open for almost 5 years.
Wow.
The food is American, I guess modern, you would say.
Sure.
We make a lot of stuff from scratch there. Almost the majority of everything is from scratch.
Awesome.
Sorry, I'm Brennan. I run Del Chuco. I started the Standard 2 years ago, I guess, and then when Chuco came around, it's natural transition over there. So it's been playing with food over there ever since.
Nice. I'm Luke Hawk. I'm at the local, so new sandwich shop, deli, like Brown said, and I think for all of our concepts, we make everything from scratch. So I think that's a great part of our concepts and our groups. So we're bringing that, like we said, it just transition into the local to make something new.
Yeah, and so I think what most, like, some people will know and some people don't, is that all y'all are a part of the same like restaurant group, the Mercado Group. And so the first concept obviously being the Standard, and then growing into Del Chuco in 2023-ish, and then now the local. So but we'll dive more into kind of, you know, each individual concept as well as kind of what the future looks like. But I think what's unique from y'all's perspective is kind of getting into the positions you have today. Y'all actually had worked with each other years ago in a different concept for different restaurants here in Huntsville prior to then now kind of all doing your own thing and then coming back together doing your own thing, but also under the umbrella of the Mercado Group. Talk a little bit about kind of, you know, your journeys here in Huntsville and kind of what's now led you to the position you have today.
Sure. So I don't know, 2012, something like that. I think James Brown and I were working at Cotton Row. So I was the chef de cuisine there at the time. So Brown and I worked together for quite a bit. And then later down the line, Ben came around. And so all three of us were there at the same time. Eric was there. So Eric Luther was there as well. So kind of all four of us from ownership to chef to chef to chef now it is fun because me being the chef de cuisine then, it's really awesome to see how everybody has grown into their own role to be executive chefs of like all these different places. So I think that's fun to watch.
Yeah. And so talk a little bit about y'all's journey from, you know, that working together there at Cotton Row to then kind of where was y'all's stops prior to landing at the Standard and landing at Del Chuco?
So for me, I was at Cotton Row and I moved back to Colorado for a while. I grew up a little bit south of Denver in a town called Parker, and kind of where I got a lot of my experience with kind of hatch green chilies and a lot of the like Mexican cuisine stuff like that that we play with down at Del Chuco. So I moved back down there for a while. I was sous chef at a restaurant called Osteria Marco. Loved that spot and kind of meandered around back up Washington, hung up with my sister. She was moving up there to get her vineyard and farm going. So I was like, that's kind of a neat opportunity for me to kind of check out like farm to table type thing, as much as I kind of hate that term. Something near and dear to my heart. And so it's kind of one of those things I get to spend time with my nieces. And so that did that. And then I moved back down here in 2020 and came back and worked with Luke. We got 4 spots we've worked together now over the last almost decade. So I've known both these guys for 8 years, and it's been a ride. It's been fun.
Yeah. Talk a little bit about your journey kind of from Cotton Row to now the Standard.
Once COVID became or whatever, I took like 2 years off from cooking and worked at some different jobs that wasn't cooking related. And then Eric kept calling me, hey, come work for me. I got a new restaurant I'm about to open. So then I finally decided to get back into cooking. joined him.
Yeah, and so with the Standard being the first restaurant with the Mercado Group, take us back a little bit to what that was like opening it, because it was obviously a little bit of an interesting time, because you had like right after COVID, kind of that like kind of a weird time, at least for even downtown, with new concepts coming in general around here. What was the response that you had from the community as far as, this concept that you had, that Eric had, that like, hey, I have this idea to do this, to like, hey, here's what the community actually thinks about this restaurant?
It was, well, there's no restaurants/markets at the time. I don't think there is anywhere here in downtown Huntsville.
Not for real. I think that was one of the great points about that place starting up, is that you were getting kind of that bodega feel, which I think was needed, especially now, even more so with all the apartment buildings and more people downtown. So that was a great for us.
Yeah, it was an interesting concept, because I remember when it opened. First off, I think I go to the Standard at least once or twice a month. Like it's on rotation with my wife and I. We'll go there. I have a buddy of mine that we get lunch. We always either go there or Del Chuco. Like it's just on all the rotations. And so it's interesting, because I think the concept, like you said, for the time was perfect, because everything going on in the world at the time, and then kind of having this kind of grab and go option. Is this a market? Is this a restaurant? Like, what is this? But then now I feel like the reputation that y'all have is pretty high up there. I mean, there's not most brunch mornings when we're around downtown, it's not packed.
We're packed for brunch.
Yeah. How has, like, was it a slow growth for the Standard, or did you see shortly after opening, people kind of got the concept, got what y'all were trying to do, and then it's just been full steam ahead since?
I think it gradually just built, and then we evolved too. I don't know. It's just we make the food with love and passion, and that speaks. We don't have to advertise or anything. Once you taste it,
Yeah, 100%. And so the transition with the Mercado Group from there was Del Chuco. Talk a little bit about kind of that opening and kind of what that looked like, as far as, it's right on the square. You have tons of visibility from everybody coming to the courthouse or just walking around, high traffic in the area. What was that initial kind of, what were people expecting? Did it meet their expectations? Did you kind of surprise them with what you had to offer?
Yeah, I think transitioning into the Del Chuco was fun, because it was St. Patrick's Day weekend. We did our soft opening on that Thursday.
that was a night.
Yeah, it was rough. That was a lot, though. Like we opened that Thursday, just did like a dinner service, kind of like just word of mouth, come in, no invitations or anything like that. Just, bring your friends, bring your family. Anybody passing by was welcome to come in. And it was a good night, just like a mellow, like it's busier, but like it was good for the crew to kind of get some continuity and figure out, who's going to be on what station and whatnot. And then we opened up full service that next day on Friday, and it was just full tilt.
Yeah.
Full steam ahead. No joke around. We're like, okay, this is good. It ran, the first couple hours, you working out little things. And by the end of the night, like I remember like vividly sitting at, I think it was table 22. It's right on those benches, right when you kind of walk past the server alley. And Eric and I were just sitting there talking. We're just looked at each other like, how did we get so lucky to have this staff that just fell into place and knew what to do and came in and rocked out. And then we opened the doors the next day for St. Patrick's Day, and it was, I think to this day, like top 3, top 5 busiest days we've ever had still.
I remember running salsa from the Standard over to you. And Fred was stuff.
That's like when well, you don't have a walk-in, so you can't cry in the walk-in. Then that's usually think like
frozen greenies or cry a little bit.
Are you busy at the Standard? What do you do? There's not that comfort there.
Yeah, I mean, I think I remember y'all's opening during the St. Pat. Like, it was like the parade was going on, and the window was, and I remember like walking by like the week leading up to it, and was like, I think they're about to open. I'm not really sure. And then I remember being down here, like sitting out front of the place, and I think the doors opened, or the window opened for service. And I was like, they're open. And I remember getting green beer and hanging out there and like doing the whole thing. And I remember thinking, oh yeah, they're going to do really well. Like they're primed in the spot for a cuisine that's needed around the square, downtown in general. And it sounds like it's been full steam ahead since.
Yeah, I needed no introduction rolling into that weekend. It was honestly smart that we didn't try and advertise or anything, because if anybody had been like, "Oh, let's go try that this weekend," they would have been surely disappointed to not be able to get in. And unfortunately, it's not a bad problem for us, but it's never fun to have to turn people away.
Yeah, and I think the one thing that's unique too about Del Chuco is that it has the underground as well. Talk a little bit about that element that kind of offers sort of a different experience for people that maybe, hey, there's probably plenty of people that maybe have never gone to the underground, that have only gone to the restaurant. There's maybe people that have only been here late at night and gone to the underground. How do those kind of work hand in hand with each other and kind of supporting each other?
I think it's really neat. So, I mean, for one, we have a great cocktail program, really talented bartenders down there. And it's just, I think it's nice kind of break from, it's not like you're walking into a typical like shotgun or like, a long hallway with a long bar that's, railed out with just loud noises everywhere. So it's nice to be able to kind of, go down there and kind of unwind. There's tons of comfy chairs, comfy couches, and just kind of relax and enjoy the ambiance. I think that the aesthetics down there, it's a vibe, man. We got the little wall of boom boxes, which, for me growing up as a, old school indie rap hip hop head, like just kind of reminisces that, I always think of like Tony Hawk Pro Skater 3, like Chad Muska grinding on a boom box on his shoulder, Yeah. So I think it's really cool for that. We do a ton of events down there too, again, with the Mercado Group and the catering, everything. It's a great offshoot for that as well. So we do like tons of buyouts. I think we've got like 5 this week. So
wow,
people ever interested in that kind of thing, it's really, really cool to bring, like whether it's, 20, 30 people or probably about 65, 70 is probably the most you'd really want to be comfortable with down there.
Yeah.
We're coded for more through the fire department, but that's the most I think would be comfortable and not stuffy and hard to kind of move around.
Yeah, I remember when y'all opened in the underground. I remember going there for the first time, and kind of the expectation of maybe what I thought that a basement would look like, or like how much space it would have.
Very tall ceilings for a downtown.
Versus what it actually did. I was like, this is not what I expected. Like it is.
Were you thinking voodoo or something?
Well, I think I was just thinking, it's hard to gauge. Because I feel like there is some basements around here that are fairly small. It kind of is that claustrophobic, not a ton of seatings, kind of more of like a select, hey, if it's there, it's there.
On top of each other.
But then there's, like you said, there is so much room to spread out. Like you can come with big parties, small parties. There's a wide assortment, and it's just a great little spot. And it's nice because, like, I think I went there recently a couple weeks ago. On Wednesdays, it's happy hour all day, which is incredible. And I think it's a must. If you're listening to this and you're downtown on Wednesday, Del Chuco Underground is the place to be. But I think it fits a wide assortment of any sort of interest that someone may have going to the bar, either having a conversation with somebody or just going for a good time. It kind of meets everyone in the middle. And so now kind of transitioning to the newest concept that just opened as we're recording this about 3-4 weeks ago, the local. Talk a little bit about that. Obviously, the proximity to Del Chuco is great. The proximity to the standards also amazing, which is all part of the plan. Talk a little bit about opening of the local, kind of why that concept, did you see that as a good fit for downtown? And yeah, just.
Sure. So Eric and I have been talking for years, always, maybe we open something together. Maybe he's looking for me to come on. So I was in between stuff, and he's like, hey, this property came open. I think you're familiar with it. And I was, because it used to be Domain. So he's like, I'm thinking about putting something in there. What are your thoughts? What are your ideas? And so he kind of went through a couple of different concepts, kind of asked around, like, what do you think about this? Got everybody's input. And we thought, for how small it is, like, I think a sandwich shop would be awesome. Like, let's make it like a gourmand style sandwiches, soups. And I call it gourmet, but that's really just our wheelhouse. Like, everything's going to be made from scratch. We're going to make our sauces. We're going to make vinaigrettes. We're going to make really awesome kind of composed dishes. And we're just doing that in a sandwich style. So that's kind of what makes it fun. We still get to do the basic awesome culinary principles, but in a sandwich form.
Yeah. And I think we met the first time prior to this podcast, the Friday of opening week, which I think was the busiest. Like, it was, you were talking about just the lines out the door.
Yeah.
Has the kind of what you expected the community to be invested into this concept, obviously being the third restaurant with the Mercado Group. did it meet the expectations? Did you see as though, maybe there is some areas that like, hey, we're pivoting the menu a little bit to kind of support maybe what someone, hey, we've seen some feedback of like this menu item or that menu item. Maybe we should change the way we present that to better suit, or has it met and exceeded all your expectations?
I think like Brown said, and I think Ben probably touched on as well, you always have to pivot. You always have to adjust. So, I mean, the first couple of weeks, yeah, we were packed. I wish, even still to this day, I wish we had 10 more tables inside because a lot of people, I mean, it's cold outside. So I think kind of summertime, springtime, fall is going to be even better for us because we have Jefferson's Alley, we have seating out front. So we won't have that problem with having people turn away because we don't have space. But yeah, we went from, we were doing a full muffalata or a full lou, which is our Italian. And now we're doing halves, and we're going to probably starting next week, we're going to do like half sandwich of a select few and a side to try and kind of hit that intermediary kind of price point so that if you want that Wagyu prime rib type of sandwich at $18, have at it. We love that. Or if you want something where you want smaller portions and so you can try different stuff, then we'll adjust into that.
Yeah, I mean, I think it is like it's interesting because all the restaurants have their fit, and I think it's interesting that from some people may never know, or hopefully we're able to educate on the fact that y'all are all part of the Mercado Group, but some people maybe have only gone to some of them and kind of see it. But I think looking at it like at a top level view, they all fit this unique sort of need in the community, need in the in downtown and stuff like that. And I think I've been to the local twice since it opened. I ordered it once here because I was in the middle of working, and I was just like, I'm just going to order it and I can walk over there and pick it up. And I was like, this is the best. I did that same thing with Del Chuco a couple times. It's very convenient where we're recording this, but it's also like I have close proximity to a lot of best restaurants, so it's like I should probably bring my lunch, but it's much easier just to go pick it up someplace.
Yeah, sure.
But it's just a perfect fit because I think it was interesting seeing people kind of going into the local, and it's maybe it's a business lunch, or it's a grab and go going back to the office, or it's a maybe they're at the Standard and they want a longer lunch. They want to be able to sit down. They want to sit outside. They want to sit inside. Or hey, maybe they're coming in late in the evening and they want to go to Del Chuco and then go to the Underground. Like there's so many variations that allow someone to kind of experience all three restaurants uniquely in its own sort of space. Obviously, the plan for the three restaurants being as close as they are wasn't by mistake. Talk a little bit about how that collaboration works. I know we talked about it when we met a few weeks ago of just kind of, hey, maybe I cooked too much of this. Maybe I can bring this here to this or vice. How does that collaboration work amongst the three individual restaurants, and how do y'all kind of work together in some things?
Well, if I have a bunch of extra stuff that I need to get rid of, I either ask Ben or Luke, and they could transform it into something. Or if I need something from them, I ask them, and I can usually get it because they have it. I know what they carry and what they use, and they do too as well at the Standard. So we basically just share whatever we need, and grocery wise.
I mean, I think it's great that one, we all know each other really, really well, so it's easy to be calling them, texting them, like, hey, what do you have? Do you have something laying around? And again, we're super close, so it's not like we're having to drive across town to go grab something from somebody. We need milk. We share it. Like, we just have a good connective base for working with each other, I think is what makes it really great for us. And I think all three of us have worked in every one of the kitchens as well. So like Brown said, he's like, I know what everybody has. I know what he does. Ben knows what we do. And we all work together as a team. And I think that's other places that I've been where maybe we had multiple concepts. Like sometimes you had to fight with the chef to be like, hey man, can I get this? And that was like super painful.
Yeah.
Well, we never have that. Never have that problem because we have a long-standing rapport with each other.
Yeah. And I think, with the work being the work that was done in Jefferson Alley, obviously having the two concepts right on the square, Del Chuco right below us, and the local two doors down. I mean, that whole area, especially in the spring and in the fall, like, I mean, it's already for football games or whatever it might be, it's already packed. It's incredible just to see. And, it's like the timing with some of these like with the local, it's like, yes, you kind of like, you scratch the surface a little bit with being able to enjoy that, but then also just like the sky's the limit as far as, what 2026 has to offer. from both all y'all's perspectives, obviously y'all have worked in a variety of different restaurants, and you've been with the Standard and the Del Chuco and the local now. And so as you're coming up with new concepts and you're looking at, hey, maybe the menu items need to change, is there a menu item from maybe both of y'all's perspective or all of y'all's perspectives that you tried that you thought, hey, this is going to be perfect. This is exactly what we need. This is something that would be awesome to have on the menu, and you're really excited about it, and it just did not work out.
Sometimes it's not about some dish that we think is great doesn't mean that people are going to like it, but we'll tweak it to where they'll enjoy it if an item isn't selling or something of that nature.
Yeah, I think sometimes things are kind of like cyclical too, so you have to kind of be patient with things. And I remember specifically like we had like a chili con queso hamburger steak on the menu for a long time, and it was like a dish. It was tough because it was like a dish that was like near and dear to Eric's heart. It was like at like the spot that he grew up going to in El Paso, and it was his childhood on a plate basically. And I think people just kind of didn't get it, and unfortunately we decided to take it off and replace it with the new queso skillet hamburger, which sells like hotcakes,
which is awesome. It's super great,
sexy. But it's one of those things where like, I mean, I even like the chili verde is like a thing that's near and dear to my heart. Like I grew up in Colorado, and like green chili or chili verde, whatever you want to call it, it's a staple. Like you go anywhere and you can get like green chili mac or like mac and cheese, or like, just we throw it on everything. And so when I started at the Standard, I'd made some chili verde one day, and Eric tried, and he was like, man, he's like, this is good. He's like, you know what it needs though? It's like, it needs like legit hatch chilies, like the actual fire roasted ones. So we were finally able to source them, and that's what we use over at Chuco now. And it's great. But we weren't selling it for a while, and I mentioned to him one day, I'm like, maybe we should just take it off it. It's not selling, and he was like, nah. He was like, it's going to come back. And now we sell the chili verde, chili Colorado pretty evenly again. So it kind of circled back to that like cyclical nature of, sometimes you got to be patient with it. And then sometimes if something's not working, you just have to adjust.
Yeah.
Even if it's kind of like a shot at your ego, unfortunately, and which is always a bummer for us because we're chefs and we're definitely not heavily ego driven by any means or how.
Yeah. I mean, is there a particular menu item now currently at all three of the concepts that y'all like it's like your favorite? It maybe is not the thing that sells the most of, but it's like if you had one meal from each concept, you would get this.
My favorite at the Standard is the tonkatsu bowl.
Okay.
It's light. It's not too much. It's just right. Spice, different textures. That's my favorite dish.
El Pastor street tacos. I probably eat them 5 times a week. I don't know why I had to think so hard on that.
Hard to say because we're still relatively new, but I mean, I think the Lou is probably my favorite, just from like the cold sandwich, like inspired from a sandwich place in St. Louis that my wife and some of my friends and I used to go to, or the Arby's Hot Sister. So it's like a play on the Arby's beef and cheddar, but really, really fantastic beef, great cheese sauce, just a soft brioche bun, and it's comforting and goes down pretty easy. You can eat that thing in a couple of bites. So
yeah, and so we alluded to it a little bit earlier, but there is kind of a fourth leg so far in the Mercado Group, which is the catering aspect of the business that maybe some people aren't also aware of. Give us a little bit of an overview of kind of what that looks like, and maybe what people, obviously, as we're recording this is a busier time of the year for the catering, holiday parties, holiday get-togethers. It's a very popular thing, and so talk a little bit about what that looks like and kind of what people can how people can find out more about the catering aspect of the business.
We'll work with anybody if they want a party or any kind of food, certain food. We basically say yes to everything. So, but we do have a catering menu, which we have a catering booklet and a catering manager, Caitlin. I guess you could go to any one of these restaurants and just, hey, if somebody wants there's that type of food catered for them, you just got to talk to the manager and we'll make it happen.
Yeah, I mean, this time of year is, like you were saying, busy time of year. Brown is typically heading up like all of those events. So I know both of them have been working on whether it's going to be an event for the underground, whether it's a catered out event, whether it's a buyout. Like, again, that's something that we can all do together to help out. We did our first one to go cater out this morning at the local. So like 20 people, big sandwich platter.
I think I saw the photo right before y'all got here. I was like, oh, maybe catering at the local. I was like, I got to bring that up. And so
that's definitely something that we want to focus on as well. Any way that you create new revenue is obviously the goal.
We'll have information about the catering and all the different concepts in the episode notes. So if anyone wants to kind of find out information about that or kind of see what's maybe best fit for their event, there'll be stuff there. Kind of transitioning in this last little part of the conversation. Obviously, with 3 concepts since 2021, y'all have moved pretty quickly. Obviously, as we're recording this, moving into 2026, kind of what maybe can people expect from the Mercado Group? Is there other concepts in mind? Is it building out more of a downtown presence? Is it expanding outside of downtown? What can you tell us as we sit here recording in December of 2025?
So we definitely have plans to do more. I think throughout 26, we'll probably have at least one, if not 2 new concepts. I know Eric has said he doesn't want to build a restaurant anymore. Takes a lot of work to start from scratch. So I think, as new places kind of open or become vacant or available, I think that's kind of like what we're looking for. Specific concepts, I don't think we're 100% on, but I know we'll definitely have something coming in the near future.
Yeah. And so, I mean, as all y'all all worked with Eric, y'all have all worked together in the past. Like when that conversation comes, like thinking back to the kind of the conversations of like, let's start Del Chuco. Is that a conversation that it's a roundtable discussion like this, or is it kind of Eric bringing in y'all's feedback of like, hey, what have y'all been a part of? Things you like, things you don't like, or is it a lot of like, hey, maybe looking at the areas, particular like, hey, this particular space is available. What would be best in this space? Not necessarily what do I think we need in the area, kind of thing. Or how does that conversation typically look like? Looking at maybe Del Chuco or the local, for instance.
I think it kind of looks like all of those things.
Yes, there's so many variables. And what's going to make a restaurant successful? Yeah, what's going to make a restaurant successful? I mean, Eric's got a real keen ability at picking people and putting the puzzle pieces together and seeing who's, like all of us have our different strengths and different weaknesses. I mean, Brown's a creative genius. I'm a little more analytical and less creative on that side. And then, Luke's just the well-rounded, perfect boy. No, it's for real. Like, I think we're all just lucky to be a part of this and see where it goes. I mean, I guess I think of it as, kind of under promise, over deliver. And there's some stuff happening and I'm excited for it. I don't know what it looks like yet exactly, but I think all of us are excited.
Yeah.
And again, I think it goes back to like what I've touched on before is that it's working as a team. So it's not Eric just telling us all this stuff. It's where we're going to work together. We're going to problem solve it together. We're going to brainstorm. Like, what do we think when it comes to writing menus? We usually, again, all 3 of us have been together where we write menus together. So that's something that we ask for each other's input, whether it was mine was most recent, them sitting down, tasting all the food, giving notes. Hey,
I bet that's a great day. I mean, like, hey, it's a full table of everything on the menu. You're like, oh,
basically.
Awesome. And so, I mean, like, I think it's interesting too. And for like, y'all have obviously probably also worked your way through the restaurant, doing a lot of different tasks. And obviously Eric has too. Do you think that adds an element of the success that y'all have had in all the restaurants is knowing the ins and outs of every position from bottom to top? And do you think, from y'all's perspective, being able to then, with the teams that y'all have, you kind of know what it's like being, 4 or 5 steps down below you, maybe just starting in the restaurant versus where y'all are today?
100%. You're not going to work especially not in management, if you're not willing to get down under dish machines and pull stuff out of drains, wash dishes and do all the nitty gritty. I think we all stand by that. Don't ask somebody to do something you're not willing to do yourself. You can't run a restaurant if you haven't done all the jobs in it.
Yeah. I saw Roy Choi, famous chef. He did a podcast recently and he said that the higher that you get up in the restaurant, executive level or whatever, the less cooking that you do. And I think that does happen a lot, but that doesn't happen for us. I think I work a station every day. Brown works a station. Ben does. Like, yeah, we're up there. We have a lot to do, but we're still cooking. Like, I don't think, like, getting to what Ben said, you have to do all this stuff, because I think to be the chef, you have to be the best person in that building. And you're not going to be the best person in the building when you're making food unless you're actually putting your hands on it. And I know Brown does, I know Ben does, I know I do. And whether they need help, I mean, we'll jump in anywhere we need and start cooking somewhere else.
Yeah. And I think, I mean, I saw a podcast or a clip of a podcast with some chef was talking about kind of, you know, the successful restaurant and kind of what it takes. And, you know, it's not necessarily trying to fill the seats, particularly on that Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Like sometimes those kind of fill the seats themselves just with that. Obviously, in the early openings and from the conversation so far, you know, y'all really haven't had to do too much marketing to fill seats. If someone's listening and they kind of have this, maybe they want to start a restaurant or they're a part of a restaurant that's just started, or don't do it. It's funny you say that, because I've had a couple brewery owners on, and their goal is to their first thing is to say, don't open a brewery. And if you do, give us a call because we'll help you. But please, first step, don't. But like, how do y'all approach trying to fill the seats? I mean, it on Monday through Wednesday, it's a tougher time. It's beginning of the week. Sometimes it's harder to get people out versus, you know, what it takes to fill the restaurant Thursday through Sunday.
I mean, we do the happy hour all day downstairs for Wednesdays, and honestly, football season in Alabama is tough on Saturdays. So
Yeah.
having that the green out back with the big TV and everything, that's been tremendous help with keeping Saturdays full. I mean, our first year Saturdays were definitely a slower day, and now Saturdays are just as busy as Fridays. So that's been a big help, and I think part of that is people are more familiar with the concept as well. You know, you can't judge a restaurant by the first year. But with opening a restaurant, it's a passion project. None of us are in this for the money. We're in this because we love the nitty gritty grind of it. Like it's fun, and there's money there. Don't get me wrong, but I think we can all agree that we're in this because we love food and we love nurturing people with the gifts that we have.
And I think a little bit of the chaos that comes into it, like you have to be a little crazy to be in this industry. For sure. I think you ask any chef or any restaurateur, like, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's interesting because, you know, you see things all the time. It's, you know, chefs that they cook all day. It's their job. When they come home, maybe they don't want to cook. Do y'all still find that passion when you leave the office, so to speak, and you get to go home, that you still want to create the dishes maybe that you're the most passionate about, or you still find that urge to do it, or does it some days feel as though, you know, the cooking is your job, not necessarily the passion and the love that you had when you first started?
If I get off on a half day, I'll cook at home. But if I'm working 12-hour shift, I'm not. The only thing I'm cooking is in the microwave.
Or McDonald's,
McRib.
Or Ms. Rose, that'd be cribs. I mean, I cook at home a lot. I mean,
Your golden child.
Yeah. I mean, well, I do. I mean, that's because my wife also works. She's a nurse, so she works long hours as well. So, I mean, in the local, we're not as heavy on hours as these guys are right this second. So, yeah, it gives me a little bit more of an opportunity to go home, pick up my kid, and cook dinner. But I will say we eat a lot of frozen pizza. I just say sometimes that's just my thing. I don't eat fast food for real. Definitely will not eat McRibs. But pizza.
It's never spam either.
Oh, wow. Okay. Yeah, I mean,
You should put a spam sandwich on your menu.
You got the bologna. That's enough. That's enough already.
And so, as we kind of wrap up the conversation, give everyone that's listening sort of hey, when is y'all's restaurant open? When can they come by and enjoy? Because I know the Standard and Del Chuco both do brunch. Kind of give us just a rundown where they can find out more information. Obviously, we'll have everything in the episode notes, but just kind of give us a little bit of a rundown, and we'll wrap up the conversation.
The Standard is open Monday through Friday at 7 a.m. and closes at 10 on Fridays and Saturdays.
Okay.
Opens at brunch on Saturday and Sunday at
9.
9?
I think so.
Yeah, 9.
You're open till 9 Monday through Thursday, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Chuco open at 11 every day, but Sunday. Open till 9 Monday through Thursday, then Friday, Saturday, 10 o'clock.
Okay.
So
Awesome.
So right now we're 11 to 3, Monday through Saturday, but starting very soon, we're going to do breakfast. So we're going to do breakfast sandwiches, breakfast burritos, bagels, making all of our own like herb cream cheese, berry cream cheese, stuff like that. So that's shortly. That's going to happen. So that would be 8 to 11 for breakfast, and we would do that all 6 days as well.
Okay, I am very excited for the breakfast. That's like going to be go-to stop. But we'll be sure to have everything in the episode notes. I feel like we'll probably have to have y'all back on in a year or so, because I feel like they're going to have so many more concepts. We'll have new chefs talking about their concepts, kind of how it fits the whole group. We'll be sure to have everything in the episode notes, links to the Mercado Group, links to the individual restaurants, social medias, all of that good stuff. So if you want to find out more information, you want to visit, highly recommend, like I said, the Standard, I probably go to 2 or 3 times a month. Del Chuco, I probably go to once or twice a month. And then so far, I've been there to the local twice. So go to all y'all's restaurants. Y'all create amazing foods. I mean, there's not one thing on the menu that I've ever had that I haven't enjoyed. So I appreciate what y'all are bringing to Huntsville. I think we're kind of at this point, and as a native here and someone that's grown up here seeing kind of the food shift, this has been much needed. We were a little maybe slow to the changing and kind of offering a new unique food options. And I think the Mercado Group and what y'all are doing at your all's individual concepts is incredible. And the sky's the limit. But I appreciate you being here today.
Thank you very much
for having us. Yeah.
Thank you so much for listening to this episode of Beyond Rockets. Don't forget you can subscribe to the podcast wherever you listen and on YouTube at Beyond Rockets. Be sure to follow me on Instagram at Beyond Rockets to stay up to date with new episodes as they are released. Thank you so much for listening, and I hope you enjoyed.